time. Something has got to happen because we can no longer go down the path that we're going down. This country won't last another 6 months. This country won't last another 12 months if something doesn't happen. So it's time to flip the switch. It's time to get involved. It's time to move the line forward. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. So I don't care what flip the switch is. I don't care if that means that all of this nonsense is nonsense, or if some of it's true. All right. Good evening. Good evening, Warriors, World Patriots, and my fellow Americans. My name is Mike. I'm the host of Liberty Warrior. Give me liberty or give me death. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Welcome to this beautiful Friday night, December the 10th, 2021. Hope y'all are doing great and ready for the weekend. I know I am. I got my early Christmas gift today that I'm going to share with you guys here in just a moment. Some updates that I know Shane and I are going to give you, and then we're going to jump right into the show tonight, which is spiking inflation. What could this mean for you? What does it mean for you? But we'll get to that here in a minute with some other headlines that I found. And stay tuned till the end of the show, because I have something else that I'm going to save for the very end of the show. It's very controversial. It'll make your head spin. I know it did mine a little bit, especially with some of the stuff that we're being fed. So stay tuned till the end of the show. I'll throw it out. Probably the last subject of the night before I take live callers, because shit just don't add up. That's all I can say. Thank you, Lily J, for the super chat. Appreciate it. With that being said, we got more coins in. We're gonna do the coin giveaway. I want to do it before Christmas Eve, so maybe the day before Christmas Eve. Which what's Christmas? Usually on the 25th. Christmas Eve is on the 24th. So probably around the 23rd of December. Anybody who's done a super chat, anybody who has the membership still coming out of their accounts for channel 2 and channel 3, all your names will be put in the computer system for that, and we'll draw names for that. If you want to get in on the coin giveaway, that's simply all you have to do. Either join one of the memberships or just do a super chat. Super chat, in my opinion, is the easiest way to do it. That way you're not locked into anything, because they are really messing with us on these channels, so it's hard to do the membership. But with the membership comes the opportunity to win one of the coins, which I'm going to show you a few of them here in a moment. I am feeling better. Dr. Gary came by a few minutes ago before the show, brought me some more vitamin C's. Let's see, man, I'm pumping my body with zinc, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin C, echinacea, some stuff for the allergies. I feel good. Today was a better day than yesterday. Yesterday, I just kind of took it easy. I watched Ladies Night last night. Really good show. Thank you, Tammy, Mary, Scad, for Ladies Night last night. It was really a good show. I enjoyed watching the entire broadcast, that you guys did. So things are picking up, and we are getting, you can take too much zinc. I only take one a day. I learned that from my mom. Mom took too much zinc, I think. So I got to be careful of that. Holidays are getting real close to being here. Today is the 10th. We got about 15 days till Christmas. I'm not even looking forward to. I'm going to try to do all of my shopping online. I don't even want to go to the Valley and deal with it. I know some of you have sent me some really cool places to go to look for Christmas gifts, handmade stuff, things made here in America, so that I'm not wasting my money at Walmart or any of the other big box stores. So that's my goal. My goal for this year is to not shop there for Christmas, to shop locally. Anything that I can do to not spend my money there. Thank you, Debbie, for the super chat. Bought our first foreign currency this week. The VND Iraqi, I don't even know how to pronounce that, dinar, and some Zim. So congratulations on your purchase, your foreign currency. I know some people are into buying the foreign currency for specific reasons. I know I have been encouraged to buy some, which I have not done yet. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I will not. I got to look into it a little bit more, but I've got some silver in my hand, so I'm pretty happy with that. Some early Christmas gift to myself. So let me show you guys what I received today in the mail. So this is from Miles Franklin. This is just one of two that I got. I think I ordered 42. I think I ordered 42 coins. Well, let me show you these. These are the Buffalo rounds, right? There it is. Thing is just beautiful. It's upside down. There's the Buffalo round. I know it's kind of hard to see in the light. There's the backside of it. There we go. There's a good shot of it. Okay, so I ordered those. Let's see. Shane, welcome to the show, Shane. When did we place our order with Andy?
It was going to be not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before.
Saturday before. So I placed this Saturday before last with Andy with Miles Franklin, and they just showed up today. Pretty happy about it. They're all, man, they're just gorgeous coins. Here's a couple more. Same coins. Thank you, Kim, for your super chat. Why did I do that? That's what some people are going to be asking is why. Because I just wanted to, I wanted to have silver coins because all my friends have them. They look totally amazing. They feel really cool in your hand. Some people spend money on cigarettes and beer and going to the bar and cases of Pepsis, you name it. We all have our own vices, our own things that we enjoy doing. And I don't really spend my money on anything. So I thought, why not? Why not have a little bit of silver? And they hold their value. They, it's a little bit of security for me. So I got the coins because if the economy did take a shit and I needed to trade anything, that's pretty easy to trade a coin versus a big old bar of gold or something like that. So I personally chose the coins so that it makes it easier for me if I need to trade anything. And I do have a trade skill where I can trade my electrical knowledge as well. So that's helpful in a situation like that. Thank you, Jeff B, for your for your super chat for the bat signal. Appreciate it. I'll let that go out to everybody. What else was I going to say? Anyway, just that's why I bought the silver, is just to give myself a little bit of security. Will I buy more? More than likely, I'll buy a little bit more. I'm going to give some of it to my kids for gifts, for Christmas gifts and stuff. So I think, in my opinion, that's money better spent than the junk I normally give them for Christmas every year. Why not give them something that will actually last, hold value, maybe even increase in value? Nobody knows that for sure. I know that it's been talked about quite a bit. But I don't think anybody has a crystal ball, but why not give it to my kids? So yours should be in any day, Shane. Any day.
Looks like tomorrow. I'm open.
All right. Well, Deanna sent me a photo yesterday or day before, so she made her order, and she sent me photos of her order that she got with her silver coins. So I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, if you guys want to check it out, you can go to Miles Franklin, info@milesfranklin.com, and just put in the keyword Liberty Warrior Nation, and he'll make sure that you guys get taken care of. So we appreciate Andy. I think he's going to be back on the show around the 15th to give us an update on Christmas specials and where we're ending our year. So pretty excited about that. Here's a Christmas card that I received, and I just want to let her know that I got your Christmas card. This is Kim. So thank you for the wonderful Christmas card and the other stuff that came with it as well. Just want to let you know I did receive it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the story that came with it too. She wrote me a handwritten letter. It's truly amazing. Thank you, Lisa, for your super sticker. Appreciate it. She wrote me a handwritten letter that I did read. It was truly amazing, and some history along with it. So pretty cool about that. Pretty excited. You guys are way too kind, and I appreciate everything that you guys do for us here at Liberty Warrior Nation. So, Shane, anything else that we want to update the people about or on before we get started?
Nothing that's nothing right offhand that's I can actually put out there yet. Maybe first of the week I'll have some announcements for everybody.
All right. I had a conversation with Jeff B today. Still things going on out there. Planes over the east coast that Monkey's reporting on. Just some really strange occurrences. And then, like I said, stay tuned till the end of the show, because Shane, I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to show you something, and I want your honest opinion about it. And it's something that I think will make people kind of shake their head about. And I think it will make you kind of scratch your head and go, what the hell? Okay. So stay tuned for that, because I promise you it's going to be one of those head shakers. So let's get started with the inflation that we were taking a look at earlier today. I know I talked about it in the earlier news update today and probably yesterday as well, but used car prices are up 31%. All your groceries this year are up 4% and up 10%. Milk is up, eggs is up, inflation is going up, gas prices have gone up. Now I have seen where gas prices have dropped. Okay, so I know that some gas prices have dropped, but for the most part, they are still up across the board, comparable to what they were the last 4 years prior. So, is putting Pop's Build Back Better? Is that really happening, Shane?
His broke back budget plan. Yeah, it's working wonderful. Speaking of which, he says this today is the social spending plan will help ease pain from record-breaking inflation. And that's coming out of the White House. Social spending. Let me elaborate on that a minute. The more you people spend at the grocery store on certain items, them certain items get a little harder to get. So if you inflate social spending, you're throwing more money at fewer products. That does not ease inflation. That actually skyrockets inflation. So once again, he's doing and saying the exact opposite of what's true.
Yeah. The Build Back Better plan. What a joke. I don't think anybody has seen anything that has been better since that fateful day in January when he stepped in. It has been nothing but excuse my French, but it's been nothing but a shit show. And it's an everyday occurrence of what you see on the border, what you see with foreign policy, what you see with our economic policies here, what you see with the mandates that he keeps pressuring here and there. I mean, his Pudding Pop administration are telling companies to not pay attention to the Supreme Court ruling and just go ahead and continue to push their mandates on people. So how's that helping the economy? Because if people are not willing to take that, which I am one of those people that will not take it, how is that helping our economy? How is that getting business back to booming the way it was in 2017, 18, and 19? How is that helping the economy? How is that affecting our inflation, Shane, when these companies are still 25% capacity, 50% capacity, companies who have people have walked off the job, New York hospital that has fired 100 medical employees? How is that Build Back Better, and how does that also relate to inflation?
Well, and here's the deal: is the more people that quit, that means you end up having to pay the few that's left even more money to produce less goods. And that means the less goods are going to cost twice as much trying to get them out the door to keep their company alive. So that means prices on the shelf is going to be higher. That just endangers them,
And what about all the cargo ships off of our West Coast that are still out there? I think they moved some of them around to Florida. I think the East Coast is actually not backed up like the West Coast. So I don't know what's going on over there in California, what the big deal is. If it's a labor issue, if it's a mandate issue, what's causing that?
Well, I've seen two reports today. One of them, it's They're not even worried about the cargo ships anymore. They're worried about all the empty containers they can't get out of the way. They're overloaded with empties. No one's taking them back, supposedly. And then the other thing I seen today is I seen somebody, I can't remember if it was Newsweek or who, but they put out today a picture of, I don't know, 5 or 8 ships scattered out through 10 square miles out on the ocean saying, oh, yeah, this congestion we have is easing up. Really? Even monkeys showed all the ships, you know, several, it looked like several hundred. I don't know how many was there, but there was a bunch still there in the harbor. Yeah, you get out there 30 miles out in the ocean, yeah, you're just going to see a handful out there. But right up there in the ports, they're still congested. It's all a lie.
Yeah, it's frustrating for us to see that going on, and then the lamestream media reports something completely different, and they definitely push this agenda. I saw a comment in the chat where they're actually trying to tell people that inflation is good for us. So what are the benefits of inflation, Shane?
Yep.
Well, that was short and sweet. That was short and sweet, right to the point. Inflation.
Well, here's the benefits of inflation: the broke get broker, and the rich get richer. Because rich people don't care; they can still buy the crap. Broke people can't.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, when I say broke people, I mean if you make less than $500,000 a year, you're broke. Period.
So, how do we? Thank you, Mock Z, for the super chat. Mike, keep your eyes on the prize. How do we combat inflation? What can people do at home? Let's talk about fixed incomes real quick. What can they do, or is there anything they can do as this inflation continues to hike up? Is there things that they can do to try to ease their pain a little bit? Buying in bulk. You know, I don't know what the answers would be, Shane. Do you have anything to help those people listening tonight?
You know, what's sad is I really don't have anything wise to say anything to that, because it's getting to a point that I see people out there that still making $100,000 a year. They're really starting to sweat. And I'm going, you know, there's people like us and even people that are on a budget, like elderly people. How they do it, I am impressed. I'm just happy that the elderly people that's been doing this for years have already got a system, and they know how to conserve things and make things last really long. So kudos to them because people like us, you know, we didn't have to live through that like they did. So yeah, we've never really had to save up like they did and make things last.
Absolutely. Thank you, BX. For your super sticker. Appreciate it. This whole inflation thing has got me troubled because, you know, the Democrats were pushing really hard in the campaign cycle in 2019. They were really pushing hard to get the minimum wage up to $15 an hour. And I seen some comments in the chat where they said, well, there goes, you know, my raise. So as inflation increases and rises, Shane, so does the cost of living, right? Rent goes up. A lot of things go up. Power bill goes up. And for the normal American out there that makes less than $100,000 a year, if we don't get a living increase cost, if we don't get a raise, if we don't get those type of things on our paycheck, that makes us struggle even more.
If I'm not mistaken, it would cost an average family of take home after taxes $38 an hour to have a comfortable life right now. Now, I know 10 years ago, the average man living by himself had to make $13.50 an hour. That's the average man by himself. So that's 10 years ago.
That's take home after taxes. So
yeah, so you're going to be making $21 an hour to get that $13.50 an hour, because it costs $6 to $8 per hour for each employee you have. Like an employee that makes $9 an hour, it's almost, depending on where you live, it's almost $16 an hour to have him employed. by the time you pay insurance and taxes. So they can make $9 an hour. So you get to $13 an hour, you're looking over $20 an hour to have them employed. So that not only hurts the company you work for, but it also hurts your pocket and your bottom line. So for an average of 2 people, it costs $38 an hour to have a comfortable life. And that's just, when I say comfortable, I mean $38 an hour, you're still, what, under $100,000 a year.
Yeah. It's, you know, our viewers that are listening right now that are on a fixed income, they're not making anywhere near that, Shane. They're not making
No.
anywhere near that. Some of them are living on $400 a month, $1,000 a month. That doesn't equate to this inflation. And then you've got prescriptions on top of that. You know, in my case, your case, we own our vehicles, but if we have a breakdown, you can't afford to fix it. I mean, it's just if the wrong thing happens, it could really ruin you for quite a while. It's hard to bounce back from that. I was hoping with my finances this next year, I might be able to take some money and start kind of stuffing it away just in case, you know, a just in case fund. I'd like to just every dollar I can kind of stuff it away and save it just in case. Thank you, Nancy, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Because that's all we got for savings. I don't believe in keeping my money in the bank, especially big sums of money, which I don't have. But if I did, I probably wouldn't keep it in the bank. I'd probably, you know, put it in real estate or something that I knew I would be pretty safe in it, you know. So this inflation, I think it affects everybody at such high levels that unless you're the political class or the 1% making millions a year, it's going to be a rough time.
Yeah, it's going to be rough for everybody. And I don't know. I don't see any good solutions right this moment. I mean, I could think of a few, but that's going to be pretty tough to do right at this moment. We got to get this administration either turned around or out on their ear.
Yeah.
I for the latter.
Well, the one thing that I can tell you that I've learned being back close to my parents, and for those of you listening right now, if you have family members that are close to home, your mom, your dad, brothers, sisters, one thing that I've realized that we can save money on, and I know this sounds maybe a little strange, but I'm going back to old school. We try to have meals together. You know, we try to eat meals together because we actually save money when we do that. When mom makes a meal, I'll go over and eat at mom and dad's with my son. And then I'll try to make a meal here for them and they'll come over and eat with me. I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it does make a difference. Plus, you're getting the interaction of your family. You're getting that love and that support. So, you know, going back to the old days of eating dinner together seems to be something that's working well for me.
Yeah, it saves a lot of money. You'd think the bigger the meal, the more you're going to spend, and that's not necessarily true. Because it's just as easy to cook for 4 as it is for 2. And it doesn't cost you but $1 more because you're buying in bulk instead of individual.
Correct. And even if it's not family, if you have friends over to share a meal with you and you just kind of share back and forth, and then of course you'll either have leftovers or not have leftovers, but it just seems like that's one way that I can try to make a difference on the inflation. Thank you, Tin Ridge Runner, for your super chat. I'm a retired military and I have a job with a kid, college, and it's rough. I am single but pay child support. Absolutely. It is rough out there to try to pay all this stuff, and inflation is not making it any easier. All right, Shane, moving off of inflation and some of the other things that I'm picking up right here. Here's something very interesting that I just grabbed tonight. Where did it go? Hold on. It's about Elon Musk.
You want to become an influencer, huh?
Oh, there it is. So, King of Green, Elon Musk, sells another $1 billion of his Tesla stock.
900 and some million, yeah.
So why?
If you'll read further down that article, it also says that he's already promised to buy back like ungodly amount back. So why not sell it right now while it's high? That's, if it's his money and his company, he's making all the money. He can sell it out, and that money can never be touched again through the company. Now,
so
if the
he
company was
sells
to go
high.
upside down, and he wouldn't have pulled it, then he loses all that money.
So he sells high and then he buys back cheap. Is that what you're saying?
Is it me that froze up or you?
I don't know. My question was, he sells high and buys back cheap.
Yes.
That's
Supposedly.
not. Yeah, that's a lot of them do it. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but that's how the rich get richer, right? Because they can afford to do it, right?
Absolutely. And I'm not going to say I'm going to hold it against you. I mean, if I could sell shares of my little company, if there was any, I would sell them if I had a chance to buy back and still could be part of it. I mean, is it wrong? I don't think so. It's his company. He can do what the hell he wants to. He can go burn some bitch down, It's his company. Let him do it.
Yeah. Hey, folks, if you can help Shane and I out tonight, hit that like button. Get the algorithm up. I'd really appreciate that. Smash that like button. Drive us as high as we can on that to get the word out. So I just thought that was interesting that he's selling again, selling out, and it just seems like the stuff never ends. To be honest with you. See what else do we got here. Oh, here's one that this is what I told you earlier. Lord, and I forgot to start the show off with prayer. I'm sorry for that, folks. I kind of got wound up being sick and I was ready to go tonight. So I'll close the show out with prayer. But Lord, I just pray that you help us all right now in this crazy world that we live in Jesus' name. We had said a few weeks ago that the new DC comics were coming out and that Superman was bisexual, right? Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now the new DC comic is Wonder Woman has a lesbian lover. What the hell are we doing to our kids? What the hell are we doing to our kids? Now, I guess my view has changed over the years where I just believe what you do in your own home, in your own bedroom is your business and not mine. Okay. It's really not my business. And what I do is not your business. You're free to love whoever you want. Okay. But I just don't feel like subjecting our children to this kind of stuff and this kind of behavior is the right thing to do. I think it confuses them. I think that it kind of manipulates them to maybe do things that they wouldn't have normally done. But they see this stuff and they see people doing this, and then they say, "Oh, well, maybe that's what I am." And I just this topic right here is very, very. I feel like I'm always skating on thin ice when I talk about it because there's always somebody that's going to be offended about it. Again, what you do in your own home, I don't care. Love who you want. I just don't want any of this stuff crammed down my kids' throat. That's my point.
It's a good point. I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to touch that, Mike. I'm going to leave it alone.
All right, moving on.
It's a very sticky subject, and it just shouldn't be. We shouldn't be discussing this at all for it being in kids' comic books.
That's my point. Listen, if you're an adult, if you're over the age of 18, you have a right to choose who you want to love and who you want to be with. That I'm okay with that. All right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our children, I'm not okay with it. Not okay with it at all.
No.
Well, is there anything that you wanted to bring up there, Shane? And the stuff
I got
that
a
you were
story I read about. I didn't read the whole. Well, I read it, but I got one. Let me look this up. This was a comical in a sad way. This is right off the headlines of Washington Examiner. We may have to pull this down after I read this headline.
Well, I hope not. I don't want to pull it down if we can help it.
Well, this is what I read to you earlier about the big red curtain. Okay. Anyway, this says, right off the headline from Washington Examiner, it says, China's genocide isn't as bad as Georgia's voting law, according to Biden. Now, if y'all didn't hear that again, you can ask or send me a question mark, because that is, if you hear that, that's pretty bad when you think death is better than a damn voting law. Yeah, now, that's some sick, messed up thinking right there.
It is, and it's put in our face every day. Every day. Every day we got something we have to deal with.
Why would you put something like that out? Even if you did say it, I wouldn't put it out. That is just wrong.
I don't know, Shane. The world gets crazier and crazier, and we keep having to deal with this stuff on a daily basis. We bring it up, we talk about it. It's could you imagine going back in time to the 1950s and telling people at a local cafe the stuff that's going on right now in America in 2021? Could you imagine talking to them about it in the cafe and what the looks on their faces would be like and what they would say to us if we tried to tell them what was going on right now?
They'd reach across the table and slap the shit out of you.
Either that, or they might call the old paddy wagon to come round us up and put us in a white padded room. I don't know. I think the 1950s would be sorely disappointed in us as Americans right now. In the 1940s, when we fought in World War II, shame on us. Now, we both were trying to find some stuff on the GM trial. Okay, we got to be careful. Because I got some more news today that Twitter is taking everybody down who talks about the GM trial. Thank you, Mikey Siggs, for your super sticker. Appreciate it. The GM trial, it has to do with Epstein. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say the names too many times because their Twitter is taking people down, but I also heard YouTube and Facebook were also taking anybody down, and they were not allowing reporters to put things out. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true or not. All I know is I've been trying to find some stuff on them, and I haven't had too much luck. I found a little bit, but nothing really worth reporting on. I mean, one of them, thank you, Nate, for your super chat. Give my Democrat friend Jerry a shout out, please. Hello, Jerry. Welcome to LWN. We hope that you enjoy the show. It just seems like it's
I need to step away just half a second. I got to take care of an email. It's pretty important for us. So give me a minute.
All right, sounds good. It just seems like it's a little bit hush. I've searched a couple of different places to try to find stuff. I know that one of the accusers, one of the victims, I want to say that, not accuser. This woman was a victim, is a victim of this situation. She goes by the name of Annie Farmer. It says that she testifies and witnesses stand during the GM trial Friday, December 10th in New York. Okay, so it says it's in New York. And, you know, these poor ladies are, I'm sure, still traumatized about the events that happened to them when they were younger. And I would just like to hear more about what's coming out of there. I wish you could watch the trial live on TV. And if I've tried to do it, I can't figure it out. If anybody out there can help me, I would appreciate it. I'd like to watch the trial live so that I could see the body language and I could see the facial expressions of everybody involved as they're testifying in court, or the prosecution or the defense. And it's just, here we are at the end of week 2, right? They said this could be about a 6-week trial, give or take. But we're at the end of week 2. It looks like prosecution is still has witnesses. Now, I'm not sure if this is the end for prosecution this week and then the defense has next week. I don't know yet. So I'm trying to figure more out about that. And if you guys have any information, you can send it to me. It'd be great.
Well, here's what don't make sense. The whole thing with that is the whole world knows what's going on with these two. So why in the hell are they trying to cover it up? What is so important that they think they have to try to cover it up? The whole world knows about this crap.
I don't know. I have no idea, Shane.
Unless
No
the
idea.
people that covering it up are involved somehow, but that'd be the only thing I can figure, because there's no logic to why you would cover it up.
Okay, one comment says prosecutors rest case after 10 days. So that would be today, right? That today's the 10th day. So that means the defense takes over on Monday. It'll be interesting to see what kind of defense they have. Again, I'm going to guess they're going to paint her as another victim, and that old Jeffrey, he was the one that did all of it, and she had nothing to do with it. She was just doing as she was told. So I imagine that they're going to paint her as another victim, and it just does not seem like that's the case, in my opinion. The facts are coming out, hopefully. So before I talk about this next subject, which again is going to be a head scratcher, I'm going to bring it up here in just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to ask Shane a question. So for those of you who are sending in the super chats and the super stickers, your names will all go in the drawing. I think it's going to be around the 23rd for the coins. There's one of the they call this the Buffalo round, Miles Franklin. So just letting you know, anybody who sent one of those in, your name will go in that drawing. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. I'm getting ready to bring up a topic that we've discussed on this show even several times, Shane. I even made a comment this morning on the little news update thing that I do about not believing in something. And I had received messages that I will be shocked when I see some of this stuff, which I'm sure I probably would be. I think any of us probably would be. But I want to show you something that I found today, and something that I've been seeing lately, probably in the last week, which makes me really scratch my head. Okay. So there is there is a Hollywood movie that was just produced. it looks like it was filmed in New Mexico from February to May of 2019. And it's getting ready to be released. And the movie is called Finch. Have you heard of it? Do you know who stars in it?
I actually don't.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, okay. Is that one that was done in Australia?
It says it was filmed. In New Mexico. Filming took place throughout New Mexico, February to May of 2019. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people believe that he's been arrested. A lot of people believe he's no longer with us. And I made a statement today that I have a hard time believing in all these clones. So the dates are obviously before the pandemic, right? But I still see him popping up every now and again in certain places, and he has recently. So here's my thought behind this. If certain people are not with us, especially Hollywood stars, and you got to just stop for a minute and just think, okay? Logically think. If Hollywood does a movie, and I'm not saying that this is the movie, I'm just saying now, if they are producing movies now, if they are producing movies 6 months ago, and certain Hollywood stars are no longer with us, I ask you this question. Why would there be a clone playing their part in the movie?
Optics?
I don't buy it. That's all I'm saying. And
There's
I know
been so much stuff going around. It adds to the confusion of what's really happening. It's the only thing I can figure.
I just look at certain people and certain things and these things that pop up, and I scratch my head and say, what the hell? Because until I see proof of anything, I got to be the skeptic that just says, well, I don't know. That's all I can say is I don't know. But if Hanks keeps popping up on the red carpet and other places and he's supposedly gone, I don't buy the optics thing. I'm over the optics. I don't buy it, not for one bit. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't equate, doesn't calculate out to me to do any good whatsoever to have optics. That's just my opinion. I know people will disagree with me. I know people will come on here and try to convince me otherwise. I just can't buy it. It just does not make sense for me. But I thought that was interesting because he just popped up the other day. I think there was something in the chat that said Nancy Drew caught him in D.C. or something. So
Bob Dole's funeral.
Yeah. So again, optics for what reason?
Like I said, I don't know, and I hate talking about it because either way we're going to be wrong. It doesn't matter. We're going to be wrong. We're going to get crucified either way. Because we brought it up.
Well, hell, they crucify me every night, and I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I find it interesting, and it's stuff that I want to talk about. They can talk about whatever they want to, but I want to talk about it because I want people to realize that some things just don't add up, and I want you to kind of think about it a little bit and just say, hey. Step back for a moment and just kind of picture it and look through a different lens instead of always being so tunnel vision on what people are telling you what reality is. Step back a little bit and maybe look at it from a different angle a couple of times and see if what they're telling you is really the truth.
Like I said, I heard a lot of things when all this stuff started coming out in late 20, early 21, and some of it was almost believable, and I thought, okay, and I kind of bid on it. But the longer this goes on, the more I start thinking, I fell for a lot of stuff back then, but now I kind of have a different opinion. Does that make me bad because I changed my opinion? I hope not. But I see things a little different now that I got something I can go back and read on. Before it was all speculation or conspiracy or any of them other fancy words you have to use. Now it's just show me some good articles that isn't coming from a lying media or people dressing up in Texas and stuff like that. I'm probably going to bite on it and read about it. But
yeah,
there's just too much crap going on.
Thank you for sharing that, Shane, because I'll share with you as well. And for some of you who have been with me this entire journey, Shane has been with me from the get-go. You'll see where my opinions have also changed as well. Before I started this channel, I bid on a lot of that stuff. I believed in Nasara Jasara for about a week. I believed in clones. I believed in a lot of stuff at the very beginning. Okay. I did. I admit it. I believed in a lot of that stuff. When I sat there and watched the ceremony on the 20th of January, I sat in my truck in a grocery store parking lot. I've shared this story before. Watching it on my phone, waiting for the marshals to come out and people to get arrested and taken away on national television like we were all promised. And I bid on a lot of this stuff from early November of 2020, clear up until the January of that day. And then over the months, I start really looking at this stuff, and I see dates being moved constantly. Yeah, and I know it's supposed to be they come up with all kinds of reasons why the dates move. I don't pay attention to any of the dates anymore. I really just sit back and I watch and I think and I watch other people and I try to read as much as I can. And a lot of this stuff for me personally is just not adding up. It's definitely not adding up. It changes my opinions on things. I have to be a critical thinker. I have to look at things at different angles, because if you just stay in an echo chamber and listen to the same thing over and over and over and over again, you'll never break free of that. So I'm trying to break free of it. I'm trying to step out and just say, hey, listen, some of these things that we've been told for months now is just it's not true. A lot of it just doesn't seem to be true for me. So the Tom Hanks thing and, all the other ones that we've heard that have been this and that, the stories get old after a while. And I just want people to realize that there are places out there that you can go to find information and try to find what it is that may be something that they've sold us that just isn't right.
I'm going to tell you what, if all this is for optics, they've done a damn good job, because they've kept all of us about half nuts. And, there's no reason for it. And when it comes to put something out in public news media, stuff like that, I would think do your best to either recite a place you've read it, so at least it's coming from someone else. You're just saying what you read or what you found. But why would these people want to go out and just put out, and I'm talking, mainstream media, all these people are putting out a lot of crap that is not true. And they try to twist shit to get in front of a story so everybody else looks bad. That way they can come back and say, we already put this out. Now they look bad because now they're saying it. It doesn't make any sense. And people, I thought they had a law against them putting out false reports in the news, but apparently they forgot about that law. So I don't know. That was put out a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't want some of this to be true.
Oh, I want a lot
Um,
of it to be true.
and there are things that are happening that really doesn't make sense to me. Um, and Jeff B is he's put out some stuff. Other people have put out some stuff that just kind of like makes you scratch your head and go, well, why are all the planes up? Why is this? Why? I mean, there's so much out there that is so confusing. I just don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't buy into uh, the stuff that's way, 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 way out there. I can't. I can't. I won't. I want to try to logically think through this stuff. Some of the stuff that we try to bring up, um, it does. It does require more questions. It does
Mhm.
require more attention because I think it's stuff that's not normally happening in a in any presidency, and we got to dig deeper into it, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. Like I said, there's still a few things that I read back in the 90s. I'm going to bring up one. This is very controversial, but it's Nasara. I read that in the 90s. This is Nasara is not a brand new item that just come out since this thing that happened back in November. This has been out since the 90s. Is it, they got stories now. There's two different ones, the good guys, the bad guys. It's a fact that there was such a thing called Nasara. Now, is it still in play? Who knows? There's so much cloud around all this crap anymore. You don't know where to look. You look to the right, there's clouds. You look to the left, there's clouds. Up, down, there's clouds all around.
Gotcha.
So, you just got to read what you can and skip through all the BS that's out there and hope like hell you get a correct answer somewhere.
Hold on a second, Shane. I gotta grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I hope everybody's having a good evening since it's Friday. Hope we're not boring you too bad. It's kind of hard to read the chat. It's moving pretty quick. That or I'm just really old and slow. That's probably the latter of the two. Follow the money, Mary Kay says. That's right. Always follow the money. Yeah, there's always money involved in everything that goes on. I seen some crap today with this was a good one. It was Adam Schiff was on stage today at his podium and was saying they was reading this law that passed that to help keep their democracy. And what he was basically saying throughout all of it is all the T era and everybody that followed him, every one of them are conspiracy theories. We're all nuts. And they're wanting to keep their democracy. In other words, they want to keep their dictatorship. So, in other words, the law that passed is any Republican they decide to go after, they can go after and they can bring charges against. They got more power to enforce their subpoenas. So, and he put that out himself today. So that's kind of, I don't think I'd been at the podium bragging about that if I was him, since he's the one that likes to spread the conspiracies from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So, and then there was a bill to stop the mandates that went, and Mr. Potato decided that he's just going to veto the damn thing when it hits his desk.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that too.
Mm-hmm. So I think Adam Schiff was right about one thing. President has too much damn power. Maybe they try to need to enforce that on him first to see if it works.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's vetoed anything yet, has he? This will be his first one.
Mm-hmm.
He's passed everything they put in front of him. He's put out EO after EO after EO. I think I know we talked about this when he first took office. We were saying something like in the first week or so he had like 80 of those. I think I went back and I looked at that and it was somewhere around 40. He was pumping them out. Don't get me wrong. He was definitely pumping them out. But old Pudding Pop there, I think those numbers got a little bit exaggerated. But I do know that he did pump out some executive orders that just one right after another. Basically, in my opinion, every one of those orders was to cripple the United States, and he did a very, very, very good job of it. If you guys can help me out and hit that like button, I'd appreciate it.
Well, here's a good one for you since you're talking about him and how he's doing such a wonderful job. Is here's a food for thought, and this brings up a bigger picture, but he's more worried about the Ukraine border with Russia and Ukraine than he is our southern border. Now, wait a minute. Don't even go over there and help them. Keep your nose out of their damn business. Let them have their own bidding. Let's take care of ours, and then we'll get ours fixed, and we can go over and see if there's any help that needs to happen. And that's what I read that today, and I seen that little article, and I thought that's about par. They're worried about everybody but us.
But us. They're not taking care of us first. They're not taking care of our economy. They're not taking care of our borders. They're not doing anything that pertains to America first. They're doing everything America last.
That's it.
Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right. You can read that for yourself. It's all over the news. I mean, you can turn on your laptop or your computer, and the first thing that comes up on your front screen is everything we're talking about, and every one of them, other than inflation's going down because they released so much of our reserves. Yeah, it's going to go down. They're bragging it went down, what, 4 cents? Boy, howdy, since August, that is an improvement right there. That is an improvement.
Mm-hmm. Hey, good evening, Jeff B. How are you?
What's going on?
Oh, same old, same old. How are you been?
I'll be back.
That was quick.
I didn't even have to look at him, but I started looking at him. No, it was a good time to take a potty break.
Good time to take a potty break. Jeff, there were some things that you and I talked about earlier today that I didn't know if I was okay talking about it or not. So I'm glad you jumped up here. Anything that you want to put out there, go for it.
Well, let's think about stuff that we can actually prove, right?
Yes. Thank you.
And paint a picture. So how long has it been since they've said that the Pope was killed, right? Been a while.
It's been a while. I'm gonna say probably mid to late summer. I'm just guessing.
Right. Okay. So the Catholic Church, or any church, they would leave the fate of man up to God, correct?
Yes.
So why is the Vatican putting out information to the news media that they are preparing for a conclave? Why would you prepare for something that may or may not come? I mean, eventually it'll come. But why would you put out a story about a conclave if something hasn't happened? Now, I'm not saying something has happened, but that's something we can focus on. Why would you do that?
That's a good point, Jeff. That's a very good point. Has this, I guess my question would be, has this ever happened in history where they put the conclave out before somebody actually passes? If somebody was actually on their deathbed and they knew, they weren't going to make it a week or two, would they move forward with that prematurely? I guess it's not prematurely, he's going to pass, but I guess I don't know the specifics on how they normally do it. If that would be something they would wait until he is completely gone to put the conclave out, or if they would try to get ahead of the curve. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can remember Pope John Paul. Okay. So they didn't start, to my knowledge, that I can remember, they didn't start a conclave until he passed. Then at the end of every night, everybody would watch on their TV to look for the smoke signal,
Yep.
whether they have come to an agreement or not. So why would you talk about a conclave before the guy's met his maker? To me, that's kind of like, one, it doesn't make any sense. That's the first thing that we can prove, right? Second thing we can prove that makes no sense. So Pearl Harbor Day was Tuesday. 80 years. I can now 80 years is a milestone. Okay. You're probably at 81, 82, 85. You're not going to have very, very many people left. I mean, there's what, 38 now? I don't know. I'm coming up.
I think I reported, Jeff. I think they took 60 with them
Okay.
this week. 60, but
Okay.
you are correct. There's not many left.
All right. So we have the most voted for president. That's the news media saying that. That's not Jeff B saying this.
You are correct.
This is what the news media reported.
Yep.
So, why did the President of the United States, A, not offer a free ride on Air Force One with him? Because, I mean, remember, he was the vice president to the Great Uniter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember seeing Joseph Robinette Biden on Ford Island. I know 4 stars was there. I know 2 stars was there. But I didn't see any presidential motorcade coming across the Iaa Bridge to get on Ford Island for the ceremony. I didn't see him standing in front of the big mighty Mo, nor did I hear the White House or the President of the United States mention Pearl Harbor. Why? Now, my theory, strictly a theory, somebody had to have told the White House, I don't want you to utter one damn word about Pearl Harbor, about the men and women that died, the men and women that survived. I don't want you to disrespect that day by uttering one word of it. To me, who would have the power to say that? Okay. Could it be a judge advocate general? Possibly. If you went into some plea agreement. Don't know. Speculating. Could it be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? Well, fuck, we haven't seen him till he sat in front of Congress and admitted that he committed treason. Live, on air, no one can dispute that. the guy stated that he would notify his counterpart if Donald John Trump initiated an attack on China. Where's he been? I haven't seen him. Of course, I don't call him, don't talk to him, have no idea about the guy. But is it possible somebody within that group told him or told whoever, don't let this dude say one word about Pearl Harbor?
It's probably Jill. It's probably Jill.
Let me ask you another question, Jeff. Since the 20th of January of this year, how many important dates or important things in our American history that have come about that this Puddin' Pop has not mentioned, said, went on record, had a ceremony or anything? I know he's done a couple here and there, but there's been quite a few instances where he's just not there, correct?
It would perceive to me. Now, granted, I have watched less and less and less of American news media. I mean, in my office, I have about 6 TVs. And I have it on Russia 24, Indian news, because you get a little bit more, especially out of Russia. I mean, who would ever thought we would come to a day where you would believe Russian news over our news? You know? And then I watched a clip where 45 called into Fox and Friends. And all 3 co-hosts, I think it was Kilmeade, Ainsley, and Ducey, when they were asking him questions, it was like somebody, figuratively, had a gun to their head. They were not the jovial, back and forth with Trump like they were before. Now, why is that? Who knows? It could be he pissed them off. They pissed him off. Any number of things. But what happened to the Arizona audit? Where's that at?
Haven't heard hide nor hair of it in months. I remember July 1st was supposed to be a big date where they were going to come out with all the information. There's been a lot of talk about Maricopa County in Arizona, and I haven't seen any results of any of it.
Right. Now, I see people are putting in the chat Millie was at Bob Dole's funeral. Very well could have been. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, we have a big problem in this country. The big problem is, how many Americans did the news media say were left behind in Afghanistan?
I can tell you. I can answer that question. I think they said around 5,000 to 6,000 people were still left.
Okay.
That comes from lamestream media. It was quite a few.
All right, that's their narrative, right?
And we haven't heard anything about it.
We're going to use the mainstream media's narrative. That way, we can't be said that we're fear-mongering, putting out false information. The news media put out hundreds or thousands of people were left behind. That question was asked at the White House by the press. Why haven't we seen nonstop wall coverage of family members in front of microphones begging the State Department, begging the White House, begging the postman, anybody that would listen to him, get my family member out of Afghanistan, move heaven and earth. Because if you remember, we sent in numerous assets to get Bo Bergdahl, a traitor to this nation.
You're correct.
We moved heaven and earth to get him out of a war zone. So we have Americans there that willingly or unwillingly want to be there, because there'll be naysayers all know they want to live there. That's perfectly fine. You're an American. As long as that government allows you to be there, you can be there. But I'm sure 100% of those people don't want to be there, especially if the optics are the United States has no presence or minimal presence within Afghanistan. That's something we can prove. That does not make any sense. Because if I had a family member in Afghanistan and I knew they wanted out, you got to trek your way to Rawalpindi in Pakistan, find a way to India, a favored nation, or my ass is in front of any news media outlet that'll listen to me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Captain Finger. You had something you wanted to add.
Yeah, I was looking up because we didn't know if Millie was there at the funeral. The insider of the Washington Post, all of them are reporting he was there. One said he escorted Mrs. Dole to the limousine. The other one said he was there. I don't think he was a casket carrier, but anyway, he was supposedly there, and supposedly so was Mr. Tom. So that's what I just got to reading anyway.
Okay,
Well,
so let me ask Jeff this question, and he
Okay.
may not have an answer for us, but I saw it in the chat earlier, and I thought it was a really good question. Jeff B, why would Tom Hanks be at Dole's funeral? That doesn't make any sense. You would think Hanks would be a left-leaning liberal. Why would he be at a former Republican candidate for president's funeral?
Well, I mean, I don't know the history between them. I mean, I know growing up, to me, Bob Dole seemed center headed, right? But now you go back and I mean, hell, look at his wife. She headed up the Red Cross. She was to me, the lady seemed like my grandmother, somebody you want to hang out with. Same with Bob Dole. I mean, he had one, maybe two failed campaigns for president, but why would, other than the only thing I can think of that those two would have anything would be movies, which, Saving Private Ryan. Okay.
Well, one comment here was Hanks was on one of Mrs. Dole's foundations, so that may have been the connection there. Maybe the Red Cross, like you said, Jeff B. So that could be the connection there.
I read
Okay.
that. It was in that article.
Why was Tom Hanks not supposed to be there? Because why? I guess he's dead. Is that what's led to believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
From certain groups, whatever, reporting this. So, in my mind's eye, I seen him. You seen him. Whoever watched it seen him. So, let's just put him in the pool that story is BS. Okay? So, if we deal with reality, you have to go back to the first two questions. Why was there no Pearl Harbor ceremony? And why are there no members of families up on microphones?
Good questions. Very good questions.
And you know, and I can say this. I was ridiculed for coming out and talking about, you know, backups in ports in my theory. And lo and behold, what's all over the news now? The worry of a Club K missile.
Yes.
So the people that I have associated myself with and worked with, that I know, there's something there because they keep getting it right. Why would you lead me down a path to look at something and then, because unless I'm on the payroll of the media and I'm telling the media what to say, that'd be pretty impressive, because I could think of some other funnier shit to say than worrying about damn missiles.
Yeah, the the whole cargo container thing is definitely getting some time on lamestream media, and they have talked about the Club K's a couple times now, and I've been paying attention to that.
Right. So here's another thing. So, you know, somebody that I find interesting, you know, put out some information last night. And at first, I'm an extreme skeptic. I'm always a skeptic on shit that when you worked in the intelligence community, well, let me paraphrase that. I guess I have stolen valor, so we'll I guess we'll put that on the record. But I sent a text to somebody and asked them about this whole nonsense with currency and all this other stuff, because I was a skeptic. I think there's something there. Just there are warning signs all over the place. CEOs stepping down, shares of stock being sold. Of course, I've been told, well, that's
Okay.
because.
Hold
Yeah,
on just a second, Jeff. I want to pause you for just a minute because I want Shane to comment on the whole CO thing. That's a spin in the lamestream media right now. Go ahead, Shane.
Well, what I read today, and I read it to Mike, was they're trying to put a spin on it, saying that since this case is, since prosecution just stopped today, but anyway, they're trying to put a spin on it that they said over 20 CEOs have not stepped down. That was a myth. But the funny thing is, go back through all the articles for the last 2 weeks and count them. There's over half of that in just the last 2 weeks. And this has been going on for 3 months. Why I got the floor just a half second, I seen somebody say something about the Titanic, that it really didn't go down. It was supposedly another ship. Well, there is accusations that the Britannica, which was the sister ship, which is identical, and it was built first, is supposedly, and it was built for the First World War. It was supposedly, they substitute, theory has it, conspiracy theory has it, that it was subbed in there as the Titanic because they knew something was fishy about the situation around the Titanic. I heard rumors that they was going to try to take it down. Either way, it doesn't make an excuse for all the human life that was lost on that. But which one really went down, no one will ever know because they were identical.
Hawk saying Olympia. Hawk saying Olympia.
Yes, that was its other name. It went by Britannica, because I thought Olympia too, so I just looked it up and I just read it. But it had two names depending on where it was docked at port. Britannica and the Olympia.
Okay. So Jeff B, back to your comment there. When we're talking about the CEOs stepping down, these guys are already trying to get ahead of it and put their spin on it as usual.
Right. Well, right. All you have to do is go back and watch CNBC. They reported it. Now look, Jeff Bezos sold a shitload of stock. He's totally entitled to it. It's part of his option. He can do it. Here, what was it? The vice president of Sony PlayStation. The board of directors made him step down because he was proliferating a 14-year-old boy. That would be all over the news. You would think. All you have to do is go take a little time and read. Just read. Now, getting back to this whole money situation. So I sent some information to a buddy of mine. And I said, does any of this make sense? And I sent it to him after I started watching Russia 24. Russia 24, in their late night programming, 80% of their commercials had advertisements for Softcom Bank, which is one of the largest banking systems inside of Russia. And all they kept talking about was how the interest rates are 0.03%. Not 3%, 0.03%. Followed by, they were showing clips since Putin kicked out the Federal Reserve, and it's official as of yesterday, according to Russia 24. SWIFT is completely done inside of Russia. You have to go to a third party to transmit money through the SWIFT system, which is the Federal Reserve, to Russia. And all they kept showing was kilo bars of precious metals, saying this is how the ruble is going to be backed. Not by Gazprom, not by OPEC. It's going to be backed by these metals. Now, nothing happens in Russia without Putin giving the nod.
Yes, and
Sergei
Jeff,
Lavrov.
to confirm that, I know for a fact that Russia just recently started buying a bunch more gold too to back that. So that is a fact.
Yeah, and all you have to do, you could go to tas.ru, you can go to pravda.ru. They've always said that Pravda was the propaganda arm of the Communist Party inside Russia. Well, CNN may be that now. But that's all. Even if you don't speak Russian, don't comprehend Russian, you can watch Russia 24 on YouTube and just watch all the commercials about Softcom Bank and their extremely, extremely low interest rates. How can they do it? Well, because they're not part of the Federal Reserve anymore. Now, when I sent that to, he speaks no Russian, that's not his specialty. And I asked him, and I sent him pictures of this, and we'll say alleged new currency. And what he sent me was, let me get it here.
Are you talking about the rainbow currency?
Yes. And he said, maybe so, but for the sake of the country, we need to switch everything regardless. Okay, so this is coming from somebody at Treasury. And then he said, if you really want to understand what is going on, and I'll preface this by saying he is not an architect of this. He had nothing to do with the writing of this. But if you go and read Executive Order 13772 that was signed in February of 2017, you read through this whole executive order, line by line, analyze it. It's all the shit that's going on right now. Now, I didn't know this, and I don't claim to know everything. I've been wrong on a lot of shit, but I've also been right on a lot of shit. I did not know that you could write, and I know there's going to be naysayers that say, oh, this is bullshit. I did not know that you could write an executive order and it be classified. Top secret plus. And the plus meaning it has all kinds of caveats.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that was possible. I thought it would have to be open and to the public. But after talking with another individual that's a hell of a lot smarter in classification than I ever hoped to be, he said that there are executive orders that have been classified ever since executive orders were made in process. Which, when you sit back and you think about it, it makes sense. Because you don't want to put everything out there. But, I mean, it's almost like whether you believe in any of this or not. You know, I do personally believe something is afoot. And I'll tell you why. This is something I can prove. The Cleveland Clinic, one of the most renowned hospitals in the world, they've taken care of the Prince of Saudi Arabia. World leaders come to this Cleveland Clinic for major stuff. Cleveland Clinic is who straightened me around after the whole gangrene, the leg, all that. Why is it that the Cleveland Clinic has the mandate? People start walking off the job. Somebody that I know who was a neurosurgeon who is retired but still works for him, who's in charge of a lot of the nursing staff, had people just walk off the job saying, I'm not doing this. Now it's principle because you're telling me I have to do this and I know I do not. Why is it that the Cleveland Clinic all of a sudden decided to change their policy? We are in a pandemic. And I say that loosely because that's what we've been told. The narrative of everything is falling apart. You have postal workers that are exempt, Congress staffers that are exempt, and now members in the health community that are getting exempt. If we are in such a pandemic, if this is such a crisis, why? The American people, if they weren't A, misled, B, fed a whole line of bullshit. Because remember, it was only going to take 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yep.
I shut down my business for 2 weeks. I sent everybody home with pay for 2 weeks. Because even though in the back of my head, I had a sneaky suspicion that something else was happening, I did it because I didn't want to be labeled that idiot. After the 2 weeks, and I started seeing the narrative change, I tell the people that work for me, you can either come back to work or not. It's totally up to you. If you don't come back, I'm still going to pay you. I'll find another way to recover the money. But every one of them came back because they knew if I'm telling them something's hinky, then they believe something's hinky. And here we are, damn near 2 years later. Something's hinky.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all, Jeff B. That is definitely it's definitely something that we can all agree on, that the old pandemic is falling apart and it's all a bunch of nonsense.
And here's the other thing. Back to the money, the stocks, and all that. Why? If I'm a CEO, if I'm a senator, hell, if I'm the Speaker of the House, I know that my voice and my money has influence. Just my mere presence has influence. And I can walk anywhere I want. Everybody knows who I am. And I have that ego because I think in order to be a politician, you have to have a damn ego. Why would you give up that power?
Exactly. None of it makes sense.
No. Like I said, whether you believe any of this or don't, nothing makes sense. And here's the biggest problem. If any of this, 10%, 20%, 30% of this is true, and I believe wholeheartedly the information that I'm directed to, some that I'm giving, I wholeheartedly believe in it, then the biggest problem that our government, and I'm going to be absolutely frank with everybody listening, and don't take this the wrong way, but this is the way I feel. If you're Canadian, Australian, Mexican, I don't care. Anybody outside of the continental recognized states of the United States of America, as far as I'm concerned, if you're a foreign national to this country, you have no opinion of anything dealing with the United States. Zero. Your opinion doesn't mean nothing. It's our country. It's our problem. You, as citizens of your country, have to fix your own problem. Don't worry about our problem. Because trust me, if the United States falls, the world's screwed.
That I don't disagree.
That is where I have to have faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, that he will not allow this great experiment to fail, because it will have such repercussions throughout the whole globe.
That's something that I don't even want to think about, Jeff, because yes, if America fails, God help the whole world, because we're always considered the the last place for freedom. So, and I take that very seriously. If you guys can help me out, smash that like button. I would appreciate it to get this out. I think you're hitting some good points tonight, Jeff, and you and I always go back and forth on the phone. I always have questions and you always try to answer them for me, and I appreciate that. I'm always trying to think outside the box and look at things at as many different angles as I possibly can. And I know a lot of people like your lens that you look through, and I appreciate it. It helps me along as well. It makes me feel a little bit better sometimes, especially when I'm frustrated about what's going on, and you and I can talk, and Shane and I talk and we just logically look through this stuff. It's not a perfect lens, but it is all we've got at the moment.
Right. Well, and here, this is another data point that struck me very odd. And I know I talked to you about this today, but a gentleman that I've been friends with for 30 years had dropped a bombshell on me today that he is preparing to leave an agency that we both have a lot of history in. And he's not of retirement age. And I asked him, I said, why are you leaving? And the excuse he gave me was bogus. And I told him, yeah, that's a bullshit, bogus excuse. I know you're lying because him and I think a lot alike. Even though within this agency, we know there are some bad people, but the good people outweigh the bad. And the bad people will be dealt with by hook or by crook. They'll be dealt with. And I asked him, well, what are your plans? And he said, well, I'm planning on going to Tampa. I put in my package to go to CENTCOM, which is Central Command in Florida. And as soon as he said that, I said, why in the hell are you going to Florida? Why? And the next excuse was, well, the wife wants to be closer to her family. Oh, that's impressive. Because your wife's family is in Korea. That's not close, idiot. So I knew where he was getting at. And that conversation that I had with him, and we talked as friends and guidance, and I know why he's going to CENTCOM. Well, let me rephrase that. I have a damn good suspicion why he's going to CENTCOM. And it's not because he was in the military at one time, but he's not any longer. So he even knows. And he knows a hell of a lot more than I do. He just can't say it. And I respect him for it. And I don't push him on it. But for somebody to jump, make a move like that, it's very telling. Because he has 23 years in this organization. Now, granted, it's going to be a parallel move. So it's not like his retirement or anything is going to be reset. But, I mean, it's a big deal to go from what he's doing to what possibly he'll be doing at CENTCOM. And of all places, Florida. And speaking of Florida, and I know we talked about this. So did you guys see, and it was on the news so we can verify it, where Governor Desantis was preparing for a civilian militia, civilian military. Okay. So when your audience has the time, I want you to go read the Insurrection Act line by line and analyze it to the best of your ability. And think about why the news media was calling DeSantis a crackpot for calling up a civilian military. After you read what the Insurrection Act puts in there. And I'm not saying, me personally, I wholeheartedly believe from the night of the election till the time Donald John Trump got on Air Force One and flew out of Washington, D.C., I believe, just by all the things going on, that act was instituted. And because when you read part of the insurrection, and I'm just going off memory, so if I mess up a few words for all you legal scholars out there who are YouTube legal scholars, it is the responsibility of the acting president to squash the insurrection. What happened on January 6th after this shit show started? And we watched the video and we kept saying, boy, Trump standing in front of the White House, that looks green screened. Something did not look right about that photo or that video. And what did Trump say? Everybody, I want you to go home peacefully. Isn't that a message from the Commander-in-Chief of the United States to squash whatever it is? To me, that's what it sounded like. And if you read that particular document, it makes sense. To me, it does. It may not make sense to anybody. People may say I'm reaching at straws. I could be 100% wrong. And 4 years down the road, when Joe Biden gets reelected because he's the most popular thing going today, I'll say, damn, boy, I got that screwed up. Of course, I probably won't be able to say that because, we'll be governed by the Xi Jinping or whoever. Maybe even Kim Jong-un. But, I mean, you have certain things that are put out there, and I get it. Everybody is looking for the answer. Everybody wants the answer. If I truly believe and understand what is going on, a lot of this stuff may be optics, but I believe we are living in, even though we're going through gut-wrenching periods. I mean, one of my businesses, one store, should be on track right now at 1.5 million in retail sales. That's people walking in the door, purchasing something, and walking out. 1.3 to 1.5. You know where this store is at? This isn't the leading store, but this store is at $194,000 this year. So we are down over 1.2 million.
Yeah, that's a big number.
So because people, are nervous, the discretionary income is out the window. People have to decide, well, shit, am I going to get hamburger or am I going to get Spam? And dress it up to make it look like hamburger.
Spam's pretty good. I like Spam.
Never ate it. But, this is the reality that we can. Here's another thing. We import product from Kenya. A container full of this product, normally insured and everything, roughly ballpark 14 to 20,000. When I put in an order, same order, nothing. This is just the container and the freight getting it here. $72,000. Guess where? I mean, I could eat the cost, but I'd be a dumb business person. I'd be out of business before too long. So guess where that gets trickled down to? The customer.
Inflation.
Yeah. But the guy who never left his basement, never campaigned, really, got into the most powerful position in the world. And this is where we're at. So if we have another 3 years of this, all those people that make fun of everybody and try it, look, I get it. Try to make jokes, try to make a living off of it. I understand. I get it. But at the end of the day, you're going to be right there with us. And enjoy the ride, because it's not going to be fun if we are not right.
I agree.
All I know is that if it's that easy to become president just to sit in your basement, I've got a pretty good run for Speaker of the House. I've been working pretty hard staying here where no one has to look at me.
Shit, I may be able to go on Telegram and get more votes than this dude lawfully got.
Oh yeah, you'd get more votes on Telegram than he got in probably New York State by far.
And I know
I've got more letters from people and mail from people than he gets in his arena to listen to his speeches. So apparently more show up to listen to me than they do him.
And here's the other thing, something we can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. Why are all these damn military aircraft in the air? Why? I mean,
I don't know. I can raise a few questions.
And I'm not talking about world. I'm talking about, we know what's going on in Europe. They're trying to bait Putin, or they're trying to bait Zelensky, somebody. They're trying to bait. They want something to kick off. I don't think Putin's that dumb. I really don't. I have more respect for Putin than I do our current president.
I'll agree with that.
Nobody can explain why. I mean, I've talked to guys that they're dumbfounded. Everyone's tight-lipped, in which they should be. As we have a saying in the Navy: loose lips sink ships, meaning you don't talk about movements. And I truly believe we are watching one of the most epic military intelligence and psychological warfare ever presented to anybody in the world. And that's just my opinion, and that's the way I see it. Because if I don't see it like that, our future is dark and gloomy. And I don't see that happening.
Yeah. I'm thankful that you have the optimism of seeing that, Jeff, because it definitely, I think, helps a lot of people get through these struggling days. Gentlemen, it's that time of night. I'm going to start with Shane first, but I would like to just get your final thoughts before I land the plane. Jeff, thanks for joining us this evening. We started off with inflation. We talked about quite a bit of different things, and then Jeff came in and gave us his version of what he sees going on out there, which I really appreciate. And so, with that being said, the final thought for tonight, I'm going to save mine for last. But Shane, you want to give us yours?
Yeah, my final thought would be tonight is, if we all step back and look at this at 30, 40, 80,000 feet, it doesn't matter. There's something going on that's bigger than we're all looking at, or they wouldn't be pushing the mandates like they are. They wouldn't be trying to worry about everybody else's borders other than ours. They wouldn't be trying to push all these broke back budget plans. They wouldn't be trying to get all this crap gone through all at once. There's something bigger going on. There's a big push, and it's going really quick. Either it's to keep somebody from, and there's a lot of court cases. Everybody's trying to go after Mr. T. Are they trying to keep him from running again? Are they trying to get him to where he can't run anymore? He's in jail or something stupid? I think there's a big push, and something supposedly or must have happened that they're scared of this man for some reason. for some reason, this whole United States, half the world is scared of this man. It's either what he knows or what he has done, but they're scared. And that's why all this push is doing this. And they're doing these little things like mandates and stuff to keep our attention off what's really going on. If we look at it overall, now, I've been wrong a bunch. So, but that is my theory, and that's my final thought.
Thank you, Shane. That was actually a really good one. Jeff B., your final thought?
My final thought is this. I believe wholeheartedly that Donald John Trump was asked to run for the White House. There are certain members within the military that seen the decline in the intelligence community, because you have to keep in mind, a lot of these admirals, a lot of these generals come from intelligence backgrounds. That's how they get there. You know, in my community, when you hit pay dirt, when you hit something big, you write what they call a golden ticket. You go anywhere, do anything you want. You get recognized really quick. And I think from the time that he entered the White House, and everybody should remember all these meetings that Trump had with Democrats and Republicans, and the news media was putting out there that Trump is ill-tempered and he's throwing people out of the rooms and he's getting up and I honestly believe, now that I look back objectively, I believe that certain members of these intelligence communities, the ones that, whether it be the Secret Service plays a bigger role than what people realize when it comes to the president, who he could trust. And I think they brought him information, and Trump brought these people in, sat their asses down, and say, I got the goods on you. I got the goods. The military has the goods on you. You have committed high crimes and treason. So you're going to play this out the way we want you to play this out. And you're going to get to live. You may not have the wealth you have, but you're going to get to live out. But you're not going to be part of a new government. And all these things, if you just go back, YouTube's a great resource. Go back and watch some of the speeches Trump gives. Everybody thought he was a wackadoodle, unhinged, stirring the pot. But you go back and you listen to those speeches and you apply to what's going on today, it makes a hell of a lot more sense. And I can say this. Final thought. Watch the water.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Jeff B. Thanks for being on the show tonight. My final thought of the evening is I have to stay true to who I am, because I feel like when I do, it brings out good conversation with Jeff, good conversation with Shane. I can be the skeptic and ask the questions. And, both of these gentlemen, they come in here and try to answer it to the best of their ability, and they lay it all on the line. There is no half-ass about it. So I'm going to stay who I am and keep asking the questions. And we're going to continue to move this forward together. Nobody's going anywhere. We're all in it together. Hit that like button if you can before you leave tonight, folks. Shane, I'm going to pray us out here in a minute. So smash that like button if you guys can for me. Go ahead, Shane.
When you go to pray, there is a Sandy Harp out there that needs your prayers. She had surgery. She's laid up in the hospital for the next couple weeks. So if you would include her husband has asked a couple times if I would relay that to you in the chat.
Sandy Harp? Sandy
yes.
Harp?
Yes, HARP.
Okay, she's in the hospital. Yeah,
she just got out of surgery. I haven't asked, right, but I would say that I'd relay it to you.
All right, I got it. So anyway, that's my final thought. everything is coming full circle, and here at LWN, we're definitely we're seeing new things. We're trying new things. Appreciate everybody joining us this evening. It was a pleasure. Thank you for all the super chats tonight too. For all of you that sent in the super chats, super stickers, and for everybody watching tonight, really appreciate all that. I'm gonna just go ahead and close us out in prayer. Shane, we'll do our we got our man. Hold on a second. I'm still fighting a little bit of a bug. Let me get some water in me. But we got a new ending that War Machine made for us. So if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to stick around to the very end. It's a really cool video. I think you'll really appreciate it. It's only about 4.5 minutes long. And it's a masterpiece. So here we go. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful evening, Lord. Thank you for all these people that showed up to watch and listen tonight, Lord. Thank you for having Jeff B reach out to me and say that he wanted to come on the show. Thank you for all the nice chats tonight, trying to share the information, Lord. Appreciate that too. Lord, I pray again for our sister Denise and Brad, for Denise's brother Rick, Lord. We just pray for him again tonight as he is making his final journey, Lord, home to you. I just pray your hand to be on Denise and Brad and give them comfort, Lord, and peace of mind, knowing that he's coming home to you. And Lord, I just pray for Rick tonight as well, as he's laying there in his bed, Lord, that he realizes that he could feel your presence in the room with him. Presence of comfort, Lord, presence of love. I just pray that for them tonight. I know they're still dealing with that, Lord. Lord, I pray for Sandy Harp tonight as she's leaving the hospital. I pray for quick healing for her, Lord, and that you are with her and her family as they are starting the recuperation process and rehabilitation back to being 100%. Lord, I just pray that for that family as well. I pray for each and every person who has watching the show, listening to the show, Lord. I pray for a hedge of protection around them. I pray for blessings in their lives. And Lord, I just pray that everyone is in the holiday spirit and realizes what the real reason for the season is, and that's the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ. And I pray these things in his name. Amen. All right, Shane, it's that time of night where we do our little checkout, right? So check us out, libertywarriornation.com. You can go there for our prayer request. It's at the More button. And I was watching our sister Deanna last night. As her and Sarah were doing a show, and she was praying over some of those prayer requests that you guys sent in. So please don't hesitate. Send them in. She prays over them. Sarah prays over them, and then they send them off to her church as well. So do that. Check out our store there. The store link is there at libertywarriornation.com. You can also contact us and be part of our email notifications at the same website as well, libertywarriornation.com. And what else do we have, Shane? That's pretty much it. We're ready for I think we're ready for the close. So tonight's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow evening. So check us out back here at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 6 Mountain Time.
5 Pacific.
5 Pacific tomorrow evening. Love you all. Have a great night.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out.